Bulavinaka, welcome to another episode of Let Me Pod You with Andy Blake. Now, my guest on my episode today is a very close person to my heart, not only because he comes from the same province as me, Tailevu, but as you can see in front of me, some of the products that my guest manufactures and makes and sells in the nursery market here in Fiji, which is a herbal juice called it's a Wild Boar product. It's made from warusi, and this is one of the herbal juices that I have consumed for over 1 year. And I started this product last year when I was involved in a car accident, and I broke my leg in 3 places, and I had nerve problems. And then after discovering this product in the nursery market, and taking it for at least 2 to 3 weeks, it healed my leg. Like till today, I can testify that I've never had any issues with my injury. So there's no pain, there's nothing wrong with my leg. So I wanted to bring the man behind this product, Manasa Daunakamakama, who comes from the chiefly island of Mbao in the Tailevu province, to talk about this product and introduce it on this platform and tell you about the healing qualities and share about the healing qualities and how special this product is in Fiji, and we want to share it with the rest of the world. Manasa, Bulavinaka, welcome to Let Me Pod You with Andy Blake.
Bulavinaka.
It's great to see you. It's great to see you, Tai.
Great to see you, my brother.
Yeah. So, Manasa, you've had quite the journey from Lomaivuna to Mbao, and now as an entrepreneur in the largest market in the South Pacific, which is the nursery market. Can you share a bit about your early life and how farming shaped the person you are today?
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank you. I really appreciate this time, because it's been a while ever since I started this. I always wondered if there is anyone that would care enough to sort of talk to me about having to share the knowledge and the skills that I've earned in the last few years. Yes, my name is Manasa Daunakamakama, and I come from the island of Mbao. As we all know, in Tailevu. I was born in Lomaivuna. You mentioned that, and that was very important to me, because I was born on the same year I was born, in 1971. That's a year when my father decided to take us all back to Mbao, so that we can have a sense of growing up in our own region. Also, my maternal is Viria, which is in the same area, same province.
So you're pure Tailevuan?
I'm a pure Tailevu.
Wow.
So my mom is from Naitasiri.
Yeah.
I grew up in Mbao. I was born in Viria, moved to Lomaivuna, moved to Mbao, and then I went back to Viria for my early school days, primary school. So I attended my primary school in Viria District School.
Yes.
Which is a place that I'm very much connected to. These guys are the ones that helped me out to groom the person I am today, in terms of what I do, and also part of the warusi that I supply to the nation comes from Viria as well.
Oh, wow.
Which is very interesting. They got a quite tasty.
Yes.
It's funny when I send out different warusi from different places, people can sense it. Oh, it's a little bit different.
I'm one of those customers, because I think I've mentioned it to you a few times that whenever I taste the warusi one that I consume, which is this product, the warusi honey, like I can sense it when the warusi is different.
Exactly. So people often talk about Opolo warusi, but the way I see it, Fiji warusi is the best. This product is quite well known world over. They've got a scientific name, and the name is Smilex. thought that I would never mention that. SMILAX.
Right.
If you,
Smilex.
Smilex. If
Smilex.
you care enough to type it in Google and find more information on it. But Fiji Warusi is pretty good. It's very good. Whether it's Ovalau, I've tried all of them, and I've taken whenever it's available to me. I take it in and I prepare it for the people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was it.
Wow, fantastic! That was so that was sort of like how you journeyed into where you are now, eh?
Yes.
You come from a family with deep roots in farming, which you've already mentioned, dating back to your grandfather's settlement in 1941.
Yes.
How did that legacy influence your passion for natural remedies and herbal medicines such as the Warusi?
Oh, most definitely. My grandfather moved to Nangiringirilali way back in the early 40s, late 30s.
Nangiringirilali is in...
Nangiringirilali is also in Bau.
In Bau.
It's in the mainland.
Right.
But it's one of our family farming settlement.
Right, and this is correct me if I'm wrong. Is you access this this area through the road to Longanisembi of the King's Highway? Yes.
When you go through Longanisembi, you'd be guaranteed if you reach the end of the road in Sembi. Longani is a village that the road starts from, and Sembi is the end of the road. That's why it's called Longani.
Okay,
Sembi.
Interesting.
But then when you reach Sembi, you'll be guaranteed you'll see Mbau in it.
Yes, I've been to the Tonginivalu area, Savai,
yes.
And when I'm there, like Mbau is just like right in front of you. It's so beautiful out there.
So, but Sembi, you will see the whole island in its. So that's also another area where I'm very much attached to, because if you come from Matasao Lewu, which is the existing Mbau road,
yes,
you won't see Mbau. You'll be disappointed. If you want to see Mbau, you won't be able to see Mbau. You'll see mangroves and stuff like that. But if you come from Sembi, you will definitely see Mbau.
Yeah. And for like any international viewers that are watching and they are interested in just viewing Mbau, because we all know that there's traditional and very strict protocols to visit the Chifley Island. Is that road accessible for tourists to just go and just have a look and have a view of Mbau Island?
Yep. I better be careful not to promote people coming there right now.
No, but, absolutely.
Yes,
but there are
right.
protocols.
Yeah,
there are protocols that guests have to follow.
Definitely.
To definitely get into Mbau and to Longanisembi.
Like I said, you won't be disappointed. So
yeah.
You won't be disappointed. If you want to see Mbau in the whole, all the villages, you'll see Lasekau there, you'll see Mbau, you'll see Soso.
Yeah.
But you will not see Mataiwelangi. You'll see a bit of an end of Mataiwelangi from that end.
And that's where the Vunivalu resides. Yes.
But you'll definitely see Mbau from that, from Sembi landing.
Right. So your grandfather born in 1941 or?
No. He moved.
He moved in 1941.
To Nangiringirilali in 1941.
Right. And what was his farming, what did he start? Would you know, what he started farming with?
If you understand Daunakamakama family, there's quite a bit of some I may say extraordinary things in terms of entrepreneurship. A lot of our family, we carried that legacy of having to think beyond our age. Like I'm living here, but my mind is always focused on what's in the future. I'll give you an example. My grandfather was born in Ovalau.
Right.
When he was born,
the second capital of Fiji, Ovalau.
Yeah. So when he was born, no, he wasn't born in Ovalau. He was born. I have to clarify this one.
Yeah.
But he was raised in Ovalau in the early days when Ratu Dakumbau.
Right. Ratu Seru
Dakumbau. I'm talking about Ratu Seru Dakumbau.
Yeah.
Used to be the chief of Fiji, the king of Fiji.
The king of Fiji.
There was a counselor that was made in the Fijian protocol. They call it Tangase.
Right.
And this is the very important person who counsel him everywhere he goes.
Wow.
So in the Fijian protocol, when he drank the first Vunivalu cup, My great-grandfather was the one who drank the next one, which is the Ngase.
Interesting.
Ngase has to drink that cup.
Wow.
So wherever the Vunivalu goes, he is the one that travels with him. So, and then when they always go to Ovalau for that, the colonialism.
Yes, yes.
Any meeting, any sign of the legislation and everything like that, he was traveling with him. But then eventually, one of a daughter was married to the Wilson, who resides in Ovalau.
Right.
So when the daughter married to the Wilson, my great-grandfather decided to stay there in Ovalau. It was probably too hard for him to travel back and forth.
He was lured by love.
Yes. So my great-grandfather had to stay there with the daughter and the father-in-law there in Natokalau. So my great-grandfather eventually was buried there.
In Ovalau.
My grandfather, Andhy Daunakamakama, having to raised with the European settlers, he watched all the exchange of money, the traffic of trades and everything like that. And he saw it, and that sort of gotten into him. I'm bringing the idea of entrepreneurship.
Right.
So when he moved away from Ovalau, so eventually when my great-grandfather died, my great-grandmother was married to someone in Moturiki. So they moved to Moturiki, and my grandfather started his entrepreneurship from Moturiki.
Wow. And Moturiki is just close to Ovalau.
So when he was in Moturiki, he traveled to Ovalau to sell things.
Right.
And he had his own, he sold pineapple, bananas to the European people.
Right.
So when then eventually they moved from Moturiki, he was lashed out and was chased from Moturiki somehow. They moved to Cuba. My grandfather did
Thailand, which is the famous Cuba beach.
Yes. So because he was married to someone in Cuba. My grandmother is from Cuba. So when he moved to Cuba, he did the same thing. So because there was a lot of European settling in Nosori, he had to settle his goods in Nosori, sell his goods in Nosori. Same thing, pineapple, banana, even ndongo, which is a mango.
Yes.
For the furnace to keep the sugarcane running.
Wow.
So
this is during the CSR days.
So he used to do all of it. He was a big entrepreneur, man. And then after that, there was a bit of a problem with the clan in Cuba. So, and then he was told that there is a land belonging to the Mataisau. There was a land belongs to the Matangali. In Nangiringirinlali. So that's when he moved to Nangiringirinlali in the late 30s, in the early 40s.
Right.
So when he moved to Nangiringirinlali, that entrepreneurship still happened. So if you go to Nangiringirinlali right now, that was way back in the 1940s, when the Fijians used to live in, old bures and everything.
Yes.
My grandfather had built a house with the colonial type plan. And he also built a ranch in Nangiringirinlali. So if you go there right now, you'll see concrete posts
still
remaining there,
right.
to remind us of our past, how we started there.
Wow.
So that was the land where my dad decided to come back to, and all of us Daunakamakama are living there.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the Daunakamakama family being skillful in the fields of entrepreneurship. But when I was growing up, I also remember in my time, this is going back to the 90s, we had a famous athlete who I believe is your nephew, Autikon Daunakamakama. He was a Fiji rep.
Yeah.
He represented Fiji in athletics in the 400-meter event. Like, he was well known. He ran for Lilin at the Coca-Cola Games, and he was just a brilliant athlete. So that's your cousin.
Yeah, that's my first cousin actually. They all reside in New Zealand now.
Yes.
Including my uncle Autikon Daunakamakama.
Right.
My uncle Thomasin Daunakamakama had a farm in Lomaivuna. They started together with my dad. And way back in the 80s, now the biofuel is very much famous now.
Yeah.
He built his own biofuel tank.
Wow.
He used to raise pig. He had a big piggery there in Lomaivuna. A lot of people in Netashiri would know that. So he had his own piggeries, and he built his own biofuel tank where he collected his own gas and cooked from his own gas.
So he was well ahead of his time.
Everyone was well. A lot of our... it may sound a little bit of a, but it's quite interesting, you know, with this product. This is probably, Warusi has been in Fiji for quite a while.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, when I gotten into it, I decided I'm going to make a difference. I don't want to just be like everybody else. I want to do it the way it ought to be done.
Yeah.
So you have to edge everyone to stay relevant. You know what I'm saying? Most of our business would start and go back. Why? Because we don't care about qualities. We don't care about how it is packed. We do care, but sometimes something creeps in.
We just kind of like drop the ball somewhere.
But I don't want to drop it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
there
you go.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Before we talk about Wild Boar, I want to ask, was entrepreneurship always something you saw yourself doing, or just did it happen unexpectedly? I guess you already pretty much answered it in what we just discussed. Like, you kind of got influenced by your grandfather and then just passing it through the family line and seeing the hard work that he did. And so it was in your blood.
Yes. My dad... he's well educated. He went to Navuso farm.
Navuso Agricultural School?
He went to Navuso Agricultural School. And then he had an issue in Navuso. I think he fell off a horse or something.
Right.
And then my grandfather said, okay, time for you to come home. So he came home and helped my grandfather in the farm because they were making pineapple. They had a cattle ranch. They had, of course, can't forget the input of our other uncles.
And the Delta area in those days was just amazing, right?
My grandfather would pole his boat from Nengringinlali all the way into the Delta, right to Nosori.
Wow.
There was no bus, no traffic, no vehicle in those days. He would pole his goods from Nengringinlali, that's around Bau on the other side, into the Delta.
So he would go past, if you are familiar with with the area that we're talking about, like the Bau Landing, he would have to go past the Namata River, or does he go up
past Namata River?
And then come to the mouth of the river?
To the mouth of
that
the
is
river.
Quite a pedal.
And he would stop over at Nosori town, sell his goods.
And then go back.
I remember those days there was stories going on. My uncle would tell us a story that in those days the Europeans were running the business. So Post Fiji was basically headed by an European guy. And the European guy that was a postmaster used to tell the guys that are working there, one old man is going to come and deposit his money. So make sure you keep, when you close, wait for the old man. When the old man comes in, and then you can go. So if he comes in when the market closes at 6, the post office closes at 4. So the market closed at 6. My grandfather would come at about 6:30. So they would leave the post office open for him to come and deposit his money.
Wow.
But that's how influenced my grandfather was. So for me, when my dad went back to my grandfather, I think he picked up some of the entrepreneurship.
Right.
So my dad wasn't well educated. My mom was a teacher.
Yeah.
And my dad was educated, of course.
Yeah.
So my mom was a teacher. But one significant thing my dad did was ask my mom to leave teaching and come and help him in the farm. So what actually happened, my dad did everything in front of us. He used to go fishing using the net. He used to collect bisdima. He used to do ndalovavi. And these are all market little things.
And then sell them at the market.
And then sell them at supermarket. And I'm one person within the family that loves to go out with my mom and dad.
Yeah.
So whenever my mom comes to the market, I'll be in the market with her.
Yeah.
When my dad goes out to the farm and fishing, Manasa would go out to the farm and fishing. So basically, everything was happening around us in those days.
Wow. It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I think I can relate to what you said, like when you used to go out with your dad and your mom to like the sea and stuff. Because when I was growing up, I grew up in the Maduata province.
Yeah.
And my my parents and my grandparents used to always go out to the sea as well to go and collect beach dimmer and fishing. And I used to go. So like today you look at me and like I'm fair, but like back in those days, oh my goodness, I was just like dark. It's like, no sunscreen, no nothing, just go out. Like carefree. Like that was the best memories that I had of living as a child. And we used to go out like onto the reefs near the famous Kia Island, one of the big barrier reefs out in the north.
Funny you said that. Even today, I am fond of going back to the village and sit down with the elders, my older cousins, and my brothers. And a few times I would take my friends with me, and my older cousins would tell them, "This man is one of our strongest young boy in this village. He used to do amazing things." And that was true. For me, growing up, one of the things that I want to see is to see my parents smile at me.
Yeah.
I always wish they could say, "Thank you. You are a very good man. You're a good boy."
Yeah.
But they would never say that.
Yeah.
But mom would every now and again would say it. But it's very fulfilling when I hear my cousins recognize that. They would say, "This is one tough guy in this place." But very important. When I do this, there's a lot of hard works.
Of course.
I had to stay up late at night cooking.
Yeah.
I had to get up early in the morning preparing it. I had to. There's a whole lot of process. It may look ordinary, but there's a whole lot of process.
But it's a magical drink.
It is.
Like it's cured a lot of illnesses, and it helped a lot of people, myself included. I'm like a testament to this. Hence is why we're talking about this whole product today, which will bring me to my next question. Your journey with herbal medicine started while working on I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Beulah juice, now Juice Fiji. Can you take us back to those early days? Like what inspired you to start making your own herbal juice, which is Wild Boar?
Okay. I think I'll go quite a little bit back if you allow me. I used to play rugby league in Australia.
Yes.
Played Fiji Mbati for a couple of years. Represented Fiji a few times. And then one of those days I had a contract to play in overseas. My contract came when I was in overseas, but before that, I used to paddle also a kayak.
Right.
I'm a fully fledged kayak coach.
Wow.
I can take the kayak down waterfalls. So in Fiji, if you have got a kayak at home,
yes,
and you think of someone to come and teach you how to do kayak, call me. But quite interesting. So
you're a jack of all trades.
Yeah. But anyway. When I was in Australia, I had an invitation to come and attend Narrabeen, New South Wales Academy of Sports. When I was in Narrabeen training for kayak, they found out that I used to play for Fiji Mbati. So that's when my rugby league came through. So I ended up signing contracts in Australia. So when I was living in Australia, I had a few problems, physical problems.
Right.
So
through the sport, through sports related.
So I went and had some blood tests going. So when I had my blood test, they found out that I have a pretty bad hepatitis. So I had hepatitis B. It's in its worst case. So when I had that hepatitis B, and in Australia, it's quite a very dangerous sickness.
Yes.
Even today.
Yes.
That can also be a STD.
Yes.
Just to be quite honest.
Yes.
I'm honest now.
Yeah.
Because I know I came out of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If you have hepatitis B, you got to be careful with your body fluid. So, and I'm a rugby league player. At times you get bruises and cuts. So, and that sort of gotten into me. I was very depressed. I went into drinking. So when they diagnosed me and they said, but you have a problem. They were very straightforward. Your sickness might cost your life, will cost your life.
Wow.
So if you're not careful, you will die at the age of 40 of chronic liver cancer.
Oh, wow.
So I had liver disease. So when I went through my life, because farming was a place where I grew up in, there was no problem with green bottle. I'm talking about paraquat bottle. And in those days, in the late 70s, early 80s, our teachers would tell us, drink water every day, bring your water bottle. There was no plastic water bottles in those days. There was no PET bottle like what we have in those days.
Right.
But the only PET bottle that was available was the Gramoxone bottles.
Yes.
And because we grew up in the farming area, a lot of green bottles was thrown carelessly.
Yep.
So I would pick them up from the bush, shake it well.
Yep. Don't do this at all, kids.
Don't do it. I'm not thank you for telling them. And I would use that as my water bottle. Funny, when I was taking it to the school, I think the teacher must have believed, okay, he's washed it properly. Someone should just, hey, take that one away. You shouldn't. But I was using that as a water bottle. But I was lucky enough because I was a very health fanatic.
Right.
I used to train a lot. I used to train hard. Remember, when I used to play rugby, I used to do laps in the Reo River.
What?
I used to run from Suva to Nosori.
No.
In those days...
And the Reo River is the widest river in Fiji, so you mean to tell me you swim across?
I used to lap. and because of my kayaking skills.
Yes.
So in kayaking, you have to really expand your lung capacity.
Yes.
And you have to do a lot of swimming and a lot of paddling, because I used to do flat water racing as well.
Wow.
So because of that, my liver was well maintained, because my muscles was well toned. And the doctors told me, you're lucky, you're a very fit guy, because your blood circulation was running well and your lungs was, but your liver is down.
Oh.
So they had an x-ray, everything was done on me. They said, you're very bad. So my depression led me into finding this out. When I came back to Fiji way back in 1998, I decided I'm going to find the cure. I remember 28th of August, 1998, when I put on my seatbelt from Melbourne airport, I said to God, because I'm already a Christian.
Yeah.
I said to God, God, I'm going back to Fiji. I will find the cure. The doctors may say, you will die, but I'm going to live. Put on the seatbelt, and I came to... I had a return ticket because I was supposed to come back for a club contract.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to come back too for La Trobe University. I was going to study outdoor education in La Trobe, in Bendigo. But when I came back, my mind was set. I have to find the cure. And then, lo and behold, fast forward, almost 30 years, I met Manasa Daunakamakama. Panapasa didn't know about my situation. Nobody in my family knew. Only my two sisters, they are nurses. I told them I got hepatitis. They said, you better be careful. So they always advised me on what to do and what not to do. But in terms of the juice, Panapasa was making Bulaland juice.
Right.
And he used to run to me. When I was at the Crest Chicken, I was holding a post there at Goodman Fielder.
Yeah.
Panapasa used to come visit me. Hey, us brothers. That's our code name.
Yeah.
I got something for you. I come there and he said, taste this, mother. Drink the Bulaland. I said, good. And I had the feeling there was something in here that's different, quite different.
But at the time you didn't know it was the Warusi.
At that time I didn't know it was a Warusi. So I drank it and I felt the goodness. So when I resigned from Goodman Field, we had Bulaland. I had a few time with Bulaland at my home.
Yeah.
So we used to process Bulaland juice at my home before Juice Fiji came up.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out it's a Warusi.
Was the
Because
key ingredient.
I've tried ginger, I've tried all these things to help me. But there was something in here that makes a lot of difference. So while we were working together, I informed Panapasa, we had a chat group called Red Boar.
Red Boar,
I mentioned that.
Yes.
Red Boar came because Warusi is a main ingredient of our product. And Red Boar, the Warusi is one of the staple food.
Yeah, for the boys. That's why they're so aggressive and fast.
Agile.
Yeah.
So, we had the chat group. Just before I left Juice Fiji, I told Panapasa, I'm going to make Warusi and I'll register the Red Boar. Hey, go ahead. So we did it. We registered Red Boar Pte Limited, and Warusi is the main ingredient of, and that's how it came to be.
What an amazing story. What an amazing story. So you chose Warusi as the main ingredient for wild boar juice, right? Which is the core ingredient in all of the bottles in before us and your products. What is it about Warusi that makes it so special? And how did you discover its healing properties?
When we were with Juice Fiji, there was a lot of questions came through the chat. What's the English name for Warusi? Because people were inquisitive. They want to know more about this product. I said, so we were looking hard. We came with the idea, Warus, all those ideas. Rise. But nobody gets it.
Yeah.
Until one night, I was sleeping at home. My wife woke me up. Hey, Mana, I found Warusi on Google. I said, what is it? It's called Smilex vicientis. Smilex vicientis. I said, can you please save it? And when I wake up in the morning, I'll go look for it. And lo and behold, when I opened the Google, it's everything that was in me. Liver disease.
Wow.
It was it. It purifies the blood.
Yes.
And
you told me that.
Thing. The basic fundamental benefit of Warusi, it purifies the blood. And, one thing, because I was studying the Bible at the same time, Leviticus chapter number 17, verse 11, the Bible says, the life of a flesh is in the blood. So if you're looking for something that will help you, work on the blood. You have to work on that. Well, because right now, what's happening today, is full of toxins in our blood. There's a lot of problems relating to blood. I heard a smart person said one time, just lately, he said the doctors are doing a great job.
Yeah.
But you should just advise us. You eat your way into the doctor's room. You can also eat your way out of the doctor's room. And Warusi is a very good agent. Because what Warusi does, once your blood is purified, what actually happens after that, you will start, it's almost like cleaning the house. When mom cleans a house, and all of a sudden the house is clean now, everything's being wiped, and the son walks in. He had his shoes on, all the dirty clothes on him. Hey, out. That's the same thing that will happen to your body. The moment your body is now being cleansed from all the toxin, you'll start to realize, oh, this is wrong. All the bad behaviors, bad attitude in the past will start to reveal itself. And you're going to go like, no, I won't take that. Because now your body is clean. It's almost like your system is now being swept. So, and that's how I found it. So when I saw it and I read it, and I said, bingo, we'll do it. And that's how I started doing it.
Wow. Yeah. And I met you the first time, I think it was a year ago to this day. I came to buy seafood in the cooked seafood section in the nursery market. And I was just recovering from my injury, the accident that I had. And you were going around with trays of the cups of the Warusi juice. And I was sitting with Sarah, who's, if you don't know who Sarah, you need to watch my video with Mark Wins when he came to Fiji. She was the lady in the nursery market. And so I asked Sarah, I said, what's in that cup? And she said, oh, it's Warusi. And I was like, oh, what is Warusi? Then you explained what the juice was. And then out of curiosity, I just took a cup full. And then I was like, okay, I'll buy a bottle. And then kept on buying the bottles, and I think after 3 weeks later, the first thing that I noticed was there was no more pain in my right leg, because after the accident, I had nerve damage and I had to keep stretching my leg every morning because it was always cramped and numb.
Because the honest truth about nerves, even nerves will fix itself. Because once your blood is being cleansed, whatever issues that is causing those pain will eventually come. I remember in the olden days, I used to grow up watching older people with rotten tooth, and wonder how come they never had a toothache. It's because of that, because their system is so clean.
And that's through drinking Warusi.
Not only through drinking
like other herbal medicines.
Yeah, other herbal medicines, and not only that, they didn't have
processed foods,
processed food in those days. and they're okay. They can have boils and they still go to the farm, no problem.
Wow.
But what's happening now, I believe our culture is now being tainted with problem food that we are eating. A lot of processed food that is causing, whenever people get sick, they lie down in bed.
Yeah.
For me, with this product, I get sick. I wake up in the morning feeling sick. I go get a glass, get a cup, drink.
Yeah.
I get up and still normal.
Yeah.
I
Same.
do the normal thing
Same as
without
me.
having to lie in bed and say,
Yep.
call the doctors and tell the doctor, come visit me.
Yeah.
Because I know sickness is part of our life. You know, sometimes people in the market would say, hey, bro, you a little bit down today. What happened? I thought you're drinking warusi. No, it's not that. Once you are in this body, you're bound to have sickness. But it's time for you to reflect. What did I do that caused this? You don't have to just, as soon as you get sick. It's funny, the doctors, the medicine, the pharmaceutical medicine would tell us prevention is better than cure. But over and over again, you'll hear on the radio, see the doctor if a pain persists. What does it mean? They're telling you to go and see the doctor to cure your problem. What the doctor will do, they will try and fix the symptoms. But the root cause of that symptoms, that's what we have to fix. And sometimes those fixes are just temporary. All of a sudden it comes back. But when you take natural remedies, it's there for your life.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a short break, Manasa. We allow our viewers to go and top up their warusi. If they have the warusi product already in the fridge, top up your glass or a cup of tea or whatever it is that you are enjoying. We'll take a short break, and then when we come back, we'll be talking more about warusi and its benefits with the man himself, Manasa Daunakamakama.
Thank you. Pinaka.
Manasa, so your product, Wild Boar, which is before us and what we've been talking to before the break, has played a significant role in my well-being and treatment, which I've talked about in my first episode. To the viewers that have watched my first episode, I shared about how I had mental health struggles, which started off with depression, which I was later, my diagnosis was later corrected to being bipolar. So I talked about that and how the medication that I was on, and then now with drinking warusi, like I've noticed that it's really helped me, not with just like you said, like it fixes the inside of your body. Like I started to notice like a lot of changes in my appetite, like in the way that I slept. My sleeping patterns were much more better. I was more calmer. Like my mind became much more clearer. I also my appetite really changed a lot because I wasn't eating like all the food that I used to normally eat before I started drinking warusi. And I think a lot of it I shared with you. I was like, before I was like, because I consider myself a foodie, like I used to eat like a lot of processed foods and snacks and all these sort of foods. But then when I started drinking this, I noticed that it changed all that, and it contributed a lot to my mental health. Like I started to notice that I was doing a lot more better than I was doing before I discovered this product. What does it mean to you to know that your juice is helping people like myself beyond just physical health?
To be honest with you, one, the first important lesson I learned is that when I found out that this product is very good to me, I decided I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. Why? First of all, I have to fix myself first, so that I can have access to the product, rather than having to do something that is not mine. So now I have access to it, and I'm thankful to God for it. So, and secondly, it's a livelihood of the other people.
Right.
That is my great motivation. When I see that people are getting better, like you, more and more people called me. They would come and visit me, and they would tell me, "Boy, thank you so much." That's I tell you, there's no greater fulfillment.
Can you share that story that you were telling me about one of your customers whose dad, I believe, was bedridden?
Oh yeah.
That was an interesting story. Like it really, to this date, it still impacts me, and it encourages me, because like one thing, like it's okay. Like when we take stuff, like we don't, we are not consistent. We just take it, and then we all of a sudden we stop, and then we carry on with something else. But like with the Warusi drink, once I started drinking it like a year ago, I've been consistent. Like morning, first thing that when I wake up, I drink a full glass of Warusi, and then I drink it before I go to sleep at night, which is how I go about doing this. And then that's how my day is always planned. Even when I travel, I'll take the Warusi with me. And then I just notice all these changes, and just, I swear by this drink, and I definitely recommend it to our viewers. And if you haven't tried Warusi, you have to try it. But can you just share that story? Because that was such a really powerful story.
I've got a good friend, a friend of mine. Eventually, the dad passed on. Yeah. But they had to live together for another 7 months. 7 months. Apparently, when he found out about the drink, it was Dr. Hawer who recommended the drink to him.
Right, Dr. Tony Hawer, who's a well-known doctor in Fiji.
When my friend was sitting in his office, when the dad called him, not the dad, the mom called him. Hey, my dad is wanting to say goodbye. No, he didn't accept it. No, not yet. He can't go now. Yeah. So give the phone to Dad. So they gave the phone to Dad and said, Dad, I'll have a prayer with you. I'm coming, but you're not going. Don't say goodbye now. So he came, he brought Dr. Hawer. Dr. Hawer diagnosed sickness. He's been suffering from cancer for the last 6 years. And then Dr. Hawer said, is he taking any Fijian medicine? He said, yes. But then Dr. Hawer said, you gotta call Manasa. Manasa has got a product that is it can be accepted. No matter how sick you are, when you drink it, it's almost like drinking juice. And that's this product, which is Warusi and honey.
That's the one that I drink.
That's the one you're drinking. So he called me and he asked for 4 bottles. So Dad was bedridden. He couldn't get up. And amazingly, a couple of days after, he was waking up. He was waking everybody in the farm. He was telling everyone to get up. He's up. So, and they had the product, and he was drinking it like his juice. Wow. So, and I used to supply them. So apparently, just a few days ago, I was told that the father passed on. And
my condolences to the family.
Our condolences to him. But then I met the man again in the market. He came to the market. He was very appreciative. He said, "My tau in Nakapakalevu, thank you so much. With your product, my dad had to live another 7 months with us, 6 months with us.
It's amazing.
And we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
He could have gone, but that was good. It's testimonies like that that keeps me going. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah?
And you know me, like for me, like I won't just talk about a product if I haven't seen the benefits to myself, because like I don't even refer to myself being like a social media influencer, as how people call themselves these days on the digital platforms. Like when I consume a product, or if I try out a product, then I see the results, I will always share it so that I know that other people can access it and then it helps them. So with this product, like when I started taking it and I started knowing after you were educating me on the benefits, and then I started to read like the information that you were sending, because this is also huge in South America, in like Latin America. I was reading like in Peru for cases like with severe diseases, that this is what they drink and they get healed.
Yes.
You know?
It comes to that. Earlier you told me about the mental case. If you understand Smilex or Warusi also cures cognitive decline. It sort of helps us in that. cognitive decline and issue like dementia.
Right.
So if you're planning to live long and have your understanding with you, you better start consuming it.
Yeah.
Because, you never know what's going to come. Because it's unfortunate. The food that we are eating is causing a lot of damage to our nervous system, and our livelihood. I watched death by drown, our young people that are drowning. You know why they drown? They simply give up. It's easy for you to give up when your blood is full of toxin. It's easy.
Interesting.
If these kids would know how we learn how to swim, my uncle would just pick us up in the river, flooded river, and they would just throw us in the river and find your way back.
I can relate to that story because that's how I learned how to swim too.
You know how we survived and we learned how to swim? Is because we had resilience in us.
Yeah.
And the resilience comes from that clean body and blood that is not filled with toxin. And
that's how I feel right now.
Yeah,
like, this is how I feel.
Our children give up easily. Why? Because, all of a sudden they get to shut down. The system get to shut down. Why? Because the system is no good. It's filled with toxin. Likewise, our brain function, if you're drunk, fish is a very good chaser or something to wash down.
Yeah.
Like when you get home, have a big glass and go to bed, you'll wake up like a rocket.
Yeah.
You get up in the morning like there's nothing, no business.
It's interesting that you say that. Like for me, like I never like to always push like alcohol or kava on my platforms. Just because I like to respect the tradition when it comes to kava. Like because when we were raised, like our generation, we were always told, it's a sacred ceremony. But like just for this session, I'm going to talk about like a session where I went to consume kava. And like I'm not a heavy drink. I don't drink. I wouldn't call myself that I drink kava all the time. But I was surprised with myself that I lasted like, I think four mixes. And then when the fourth mix had finished, then everyone had to sort of like give it up. And I was like, is it finished? Like, and then people were like, what's different with you? And I'm like, and then I said, it's probably the warusi.
It is.
It's probably the warusi. Yeah.
Also, one of the things that you mentioned earlier, your care for for junk food. One of the things that you will learn to when you consume warusi, when you take warusi, your food budget would come low.
Yep.
A lot of people are worrying, it's $10. Man, hey, why not sacrifice the $10 of server food for your drink, for your warusi, and then go home, and then you have the benefit of no Coca-Cola, no bongos. But these things, they're killing us. I learned that this junk food, they are not necessary. They're not necessary for yourself, for your life. There's a lot of high sugar in our body. Why? Because our insulin system is not working well. Why? Because we stuff ourselves with all these junks, and people are now wondering, how come I got type 2 diabetes? How come I got this in my system? Well, lo and behold, if you take this product, you'll enjoy low budget in your food.
I'll be a testament to that because right now at home, my dog's food budget is higher than my food budget.
Exactly.
Because my appetite's changed. Like I'm more swayed towards farm to table concepts, and I eat like more healthier food from the nursery market, and then I go to just like food where it's like freshly prepared, like seafood and roro, and so
you do that, and then your budget is low. Your food budget is low. You get fresh mind. You're very active. One old thing also, this product, I would highly recommend it to rugby players. Even I got a few people that do a lot of outdoors activity. So whenever they go out doing outdoor, some people came to my table and they found a picture of Mount Everest with wild boar on it.
Wow.
And they would say, did you work with this picture or was it real? I said, that was real. So I got a couple of friends, Rihanna and Leonie, the two local girls.
Yes.
Wherever they go to, they would call me up. Hey, can we have a warusi? So they would take a warusi, Mount Korombamba or any, Tom Thumb or
Yep.
even Mount Everest,
Yeah.
they would take a warusi
Yeah.
with them. Why? Because according to them, this is where
It's like aside from its herbal goodness, it's also like an energy booster.
energy booster. Yeah. So if you do outdoor activities, even if you're a working man, I have a lot of water authority stuff that comes to my table every morning.
To have a
Or
glass.
just to have a glass before they start their day.
Yeah.
FEA, Fiji Electricity Authority.
Yeah.
So they would come and have a glass before they start their day.
Yeah.
Even market vendors.
Yes.
There's a lot of people.
That's how I discovered because you walk around. I discover your dream because you walk around with a tray to all the market vendors.
Even people from Suva would travel all the way to Nosori.
So they should, Suva. If you live in Suva, you need to come to the town, Nosori town, and to the Nosori market to drink our golden juice made in Thailand. Just so you know, I would like to consider myself like the most passionate Nosori and Thailand ambassador.
Amen to that.
So in Fiji and many Pacific cultures, like mental health isn't always openly discussed. And I guess like when I shared my first episode, I talk openly about like my whole experience. Like I talked about like how I got mental health and the struggles that I faced and went through. Do you think herbal remedies like Wild Boar can be part of the conversation in healing not just the body but also the mind?
Yes. One of the big problem I faced with warusi, when I started, it was it's almost like a taboo discussion. It's funny, when I open up my market to be a market vendor in Nosori, a lot of people just come, warusi. They would laugh at it.
Because of the stories that was told, which was also in my head about the stories of what warusi was used for back in the days.
In the olden days, I believe this was the drink. This was the product. This was what our forefathers used to do.
Yeah.
You can just look back and say, how can they do that? A lot of things that they've done in the past. But the thing is, I believe that we're living in a very perverted generation.
Yeah, I agree.
Every topic of discussion will end somewhere.
Yeah, because when I started, it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I first told people that I was drinking the warusi, that was the initial reaction that I got. They were asking me like personal questions about my personal life, and I was like, nope, it never worked for me. It did complete opposite. So for our international viewers that are trying to figure out like what we're discussing in Fiji, like back in the days of our forefathers, the story was, we don't have any scientific evidence that warusi was almost like Viagra.
I can correct you on that. It's not in the olden days. Our forefathers used to do it for work.
Right.
They get up in the morning. They do it. If you don't believe that, the people in Nawalawa are still doing it.
Wow.
They get up in the morning. They get a cup and then they walk from the kitchen to the mountain. They do their planting and then they come back.
Just by drinking
water.
It's amazing.
When they arrive there, they cook their own warusi. But it's unfortunate, in the last, last decade, people start to think of it that way.
Yeah.
Which is true. I cannot dispute that.
Yeah.
For me personally, as I told you, one of my problems I had in the past was this liver issue. And there was other related issue that comes, which is a symptoms for having that. Because ED is a symptoms, it's not a sickness. So erectile dysfunction. So what does it fix that? So the good thing about it, it doesn't fix it straight away, it fixes the system, what causes that problem. So when I had the issue, I told my wife, I'm going to take it to the market and I'm going to sell it as it is. Allow me, if I have to go into that discussion, I will go with them into that discussion. And my wife said, go for it. And I did it.
And look at where we are today.
Yes.
Having this discussion.
Yes. We've come a long way.
Yeah.
Before, I would never openly discuss it like this. Simply because of this stigma that lies with it. Fijian use it for this.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. Fijians are dying early.
Yes.
When you study health in Fiji, we are the highest nation per capita when it comes to amputees.
Yes.
These are
That's correct.
issues related to high NCD. And high NCD, this is a fix. Because NCD comes from what we are consuming. Remember, I said earlier on, you eat your way into the doctor's room.
Correct.
You can also eat your way out. And we just discussed about how to eat your way out. Have warusi, and then you will start nitpicking what you're going to eat. You pick fresh fruit, you pick good stuff that will, whatever your body is telling you to eat. So, and that's how you eat your way out. But what the problem in Fiji, not only in Fiji, you mentioned the island Pacific.
Yeah.
Our food is not a problem. You go into the market, you will see how blessed we are.
We are.
Vegetables, fruits, and everything. But I'll tell you the root cause of our problem. This is it. Growing up in a Fijian family, this is what our moms would do. Eat all of it. And we grow up having to believe that we have to eat everything that is in front of us.
Yeah.
I went overseas. When I was in Australia, I used to be invited by a lot of families. And the mother in the house would just say, Manasa, you don't have to eat everything. And I used to watch how they throw away the chicken, the steaks, and I'm going like, what a waste. Boy, if you come to Fiji, they'll finish all of that.
You'll finish all of that,
We'll eat all of that. That's a waste.
That's so true.
Because we grow up having to be guilty all the time about wasteful food. If you are worrying about wasting food, just cook less.
Correct.
Don't cook a lot.
That's a great statement. If you're worried about wasting food, cook less.
Cook less.
True.
If you're worried, and tell your children, don't eat everything. Eat only that. Because our body is capable to tell you what's enough for you.
Yeah.
Our body is capable to tell you what's good for you.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, once your system is clean, your blood system is clean, then your digestive system will just have a good communication with your craving system to your brain, and then your brain says, I need some iron. That's why you always come and buy seafoods.
Yeah.
Why? Because you need some iron.
Yeah, I love my seafood every Saturday. From the nursery market, So I guess you mentioned mind, so I guess because like with mental illness, like with my case, like when I went through depression and then coming out of it and then went through bipolar, I guess now with drinking the warusi, it's sort of like fixed, as you said, the inside of my body. And I think that's probably why my mind and the chemicals are kind of like all balanced now, because to be honest, I can't even recall the last time I've had an episode where I felt like I didn't want to get out of bed or suicidal thoughts or anything. I can't even remember. I don't know. Maybe this drink has played a significant role in that.
Exactly. I'll be truthful on this. For me personally, that was a big problem I had. But I was so blessed to having to find Jesus, and then I got him. I got hold of him like it's nobody's business. When that happens to me, everything else is fixed. Now comes to my system. I always tell the people this: whether you're a minister, you're doing a great thing.
Yeah.
But one thing that is very important is self-love,
Correct. Self-care.
Yeah. Because if you stand up there and preach, if I'm out here, I'm pushing a narrative. It's not a narrative, may be a hard word to say, but I'm pushing something out.
Yeah.
This will help you, but I gotta live it as well, because the Bible is very clear. Jesus asked the disciple, "What is the first greatest commandment? Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy strength and all thy power. And second is like unto this, love your neighbor
as you love
yourself. Loving my neighbor is like this, like what you're doing a podcast so that people can know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then people will look at you and they will say, okay, that's interesting.
Now I've told my secret to the whole of Fiji.
He's living it. I wanna live it. So when people look at me and they would go like, okay, Manasa, that's interesting. I love that. It's not like when you're preaching and you're looking slack and sobby and like everything is out of control. You can't even control how you walk. That's a problem. Because how can you share something when you don't even... The basic is this, loving yourself. Understand how to look after yourself. Because how can you go and preach to someone when you can't even look after yourself?
Correct.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I guess we already spoke about this, but like, have you heard from like other customers who've shared their own like healing stories after drinking the product?
Of course.
Yeah. Care to share some, like maybe one or two stories?
One was that we touched on earlier on. Just today, just before I came, I had a couple of young ladies. They always come and for the last 2 days. So they came the other day, yesterday, and they came again today. They said, "Boy, thank you so much." I should have taken their names, but perhaps it's for later.
Yeah.
But they said, it's been very good. I've had ladies from the market. Manasa, without Warusi, I don't think I'll be able to survive.
Wow.
I said, what do you mean? I had a sickness a couple of weeks ago. And when my sickness hit, I thought I was going to die. When I was lying in bed, I knew this is a life-threatening sickness. And something came to my mind. Boy, thank God for Warusi. Why? Because he said, I had that resilience in me. I know I'm going to get over this one.
Wow.
And the moment he arrived in the market, he said, can I have 2 glasses? So he took 2 glasses. She took 2 glasses. The point is, there are many more testimonies, even within the family.
Yeah.
My aunties and uncles.
Yeah.
But this is, like you said, we are not consistent.
Yeah.
Not being consistent is not us. The olden days, our forefathers, they would take it, whether they are sick or they are not sick. They would just take it.
That's why they're so healthy and live such a great life.
For us, this is what I always say. We are now being programmed the way the pharmaceutical thing comes. They tell us only take this when you finish the bottle and you are done.
Yeah.
No, this is food.
Yeah.
I always tell the Indians, I say Fijian and Indians are the same. I said, what do you mean? As black people, we believe that our food is our medicine. You have your turmeric, you have your ginger, you have your clove, you have your spices in your food.
Yeah.
Those are medicine.
Yeah.
As you eat your food, you enjoy your food. You're enjoying the medicine
Absolutely.
too. And let me tell you this is a Fijian medicine. It's not medicine, it's a health juice. And most cases, people would come to, because I'm better, you're late. I've had my food. I said, please, think of this. This is health juice. It's your life in a bottle.
Life in a bottle. I love that.
Yeah.
That should be a slogan. Life in a bottle.
Yeah. So when I come to them, they would say, because I'm better. I said, this is not a pharmaceutical medicine. It's not a wainimate. This is a wainimbula. This is almost like, remember when Jesus came to the 2 sisters?
Yes.
They said, Lord, you're late. If you had come earlier, Lazarus would have been still alive.
Yeah.
He said, no, I am life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You compare it to the life juice. After meal or before meal, this is what our forefathers used to do. Just before breakfast, that's the most important cup.
Which is what I know. Which is what you've taught me to do.
After breakfast, it's any time you take it. Because when you need it, when you feel like it, take it. And then after dinner. That's it.
Just before you sleep. I think that's what helps me with having such a peaceful sleep.
Yes.
Because I take it just before bedtime and I sleep like a baby.
Bro, people have no idea what I do.
Yeah.
I get up in the morning like a bullet.
Yeah.
But when I roll everywhere, I keep on working. I work out. I remember one time my wife sat next to me in the car. She looked at me and she said, Manasa, I've never seen anyone work as hard as you. I said, okay, first, I'll take it as a compliment. If it comes from my wife, that's good. But that's it. When you have Warusi, You work, and until when you sleep like a baby, and when you get up like a beast.
Yep,
Rolling.
absolutely, yeah. So Warusi has an incredible range of benefits, from treating arthritis, which we've spoken of earlier, to purifying the blood, like you mentioned, and even aiding cognitive functions. Like, how do you ensure that every bottle of Wild Boar, like the products that are displayed in front of us, retains its powerful medicinal properties?
Okay, I've done a lot of experiment myself. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and when I started, I was like everybody else. Warusi, the smell, everything is there. So, and I continue asking myself, how can I improve on this? How can I improve? And I continue improving my product. Now I find the secret. So, if you take a bottle of Warusi, Wild Boar Warusi, you will know it's definitely different from every Warusi. I've had customers that come to me and they say, Manasa, I was late the other day, and then what happened? I went and bought Warusi from such and
someone
such.
else.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And what happened? I took one glass and I threw off the rest. I spill off the rest. Your Warusi is different. And I said, praise the Lord for that.
Yeah.
So the reason being, I've worked in food industry before working on Warusi, for 20 plus years, not only in Fiji. I spent my whole time in Australia. I worked in 2 different companies, Butters Chicken and Hazeldean Chicken, a family business in Victoria. When I work with this food industry, one very important product that we do is chicken, which is a very high-risk product. Chicken, it decomposes, it gets problematic very fast. So we try all our best to rectify all those problems, try and keep it fresh all the time.
Yeah.
And from that learning, and of course I did HACCP. HACCP is hazard analysis and critical control point. I'm qualified HACCP personnel.
Yeah.
I always boast about it. For all those that do Fijian medicine, I'm probably the most qualified person in here. Yeah. Reason being, I've obtained that certificate through my working with food industry, with Crash Chicken as well. Yeah. And ISO 2000, I did it. One important factor in doing quality product is the cleanliness, food hygiene and sanitation. And not only that, the food safety. Food safety, you take into account the cleanliness of your workplace, your presentation, your cleaning. Food safety comes with, it's what they call a good manufacturing process. GMP. Yeah. I'm also a member of a World GMP board. They update me all the time with good manufacturing practice. How you keep your product clean, and that comes. Everything goes to is attached with it. The cleanliness of a place, and not forgetting the HACCP. HACCP is a very, very intensive thing. It's when you have your process line, you work on your process line. Once you have your process line, you identify the risks that will come, the hazard. What will happen if this product always get bitter when it stays out for long? Right. What do you do? Right. To mitigate that problem. Right. And then you write another process to mitigate the problem. And those are things I do personally. People don't know what I do to sort of go through all that process. Interesting. So the temperature is needed, the cleanliness, to prevent cross-contamination. So you have 3 different products. These 3 different products, they are 3 different products, but they are the same. All Warusi. All Warusi. Yeah.
Well, I've been drinking it for over a year, and I've never faced any problems. Yeah. So, yeah, just amazing with the quality of the product. Because I drink the Warusi honey one. I've tried the pure Warusi, but that's not for me. It's too strong. And then I drink the iced tea version, which is really helped me like with when it comes to like boosting my immune system. Yeah, so wow, it's amazing. We're just going to take another short break just to allow our viewers to have a top up again of their warusi if you're drinking warusi, or topping up your tea, making a fresh coffee, and we'll see you straight after this commercial break. Running a small business in Fiji isn't always easier. Like, I've spoken to like a lot of entrepreneurs or SMEs, and they've always shared like some of the hardships that they face. So like, what have been some of the biggest challenges like you faced as an entrepreneur in the herbal juice industry?
The challenge. I think one of the great challenges is, dealing with warusi, as you already touched. It's a little bit of, sometimes you have to break some ice. People always have that, the stigma that lays with it. But that's for the product. But in terms of an entrepreneur, I think it's always a case of who you have to meet with to sort of to help you go to the next level.
Right.
In terms of the business-wise. Most of our Fijian friends, they like their groups, and they keep it that way. Last week, funny you asked me that. I was with my brothers, my elder brothers in Ngringirlali, my village, my place, my settlement. When I was sitting with them, we talked a little about business, because we've got another. I'm trying to help us out in another line of business.
Right.
We have offered a tender, so the tender is in the process to get that business going for the family.
Right.
And I told them the importance of having a network. In the Fijian setting, in most cases, we just go drink grog with our friends. That's it, the villages. Drink grog with the villages. And I told them the importance. One of my cousins had a car sitting in front of his house that belongs to him. And my brother came and he said, "Hey, I can help you fix that car." So my brother called a friend of his who's fixing his car to come and fix my cousin's car. So, and I said, "Did you see something?" They said, "What?" The networking. This networking is what we are lacking in Fiji. In most villages, we just want to sit down and drink grog with the usual people.
So true.
For me personally, this is what I do. Every now and again, I go and sit down somewhere different. So I get to meet different people with different ideas, with different set of mindset, and perhaps they can help me to grow better my product. And I do have a lot of good friends that does that with me. So I think in terms of help, Fijians have to, maybe they have to come out from there and they start to venture into this. Just a little things like we're good communal people, but we have to meet up with the right people.
Correct.
So the only way to do it is that. Don't stop drinking grog with your usual friends.
And network.
If your usual friend is not giving you that boost, that move to another group. That's what I would, and that's what we are lacking, and that's the problem. So now I'm seeing it, so I want to change that a little bit.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, and I'll just share this advice which was given to me when I was working in the tourism industry, because I'm sure it'll help like a lot of our Itauke friends and families. When I did a roadshow up in North America, and I always made sure that I was always positioning myself next to the what word would I use? Like those the pioneers, those that were very experienced in the tourism industry, so that I could like learn and see and watch what they were doing. And so there was this one particular tourism industry colleague, Kathy Koyamaimbole. She's now she's like the regional director for Tourism Fiji North America. And one advice that she gave to me, actually it was not in North America, it was on the train. We were going from Tokyo to Osaka. And when she gave me that advice, it stuck to me. And till this day, like I always like remember and always do what she advised me to do. She always said, like, whenever you go out of your house, or if you go into society or go into an event or go into a meeting or into a business or an event, always ensure that you place yourself in front of the right people that matter. Because a lot of us, we just go and then we're just there to just socialize and forgetting about the important people, those that you can connect with, that can really sort of like help you in terms of your business, in terms of your journey and your goals. So ever since she's given me that piece of advice, like it's always registered, has always been at the back of my mind. So I'm sharing that advice today, and I just want to thank Kathy Koyamaimbole, who's from the beautiful province of Lao, my Maramatauvu, and so I'm just sharing that advice because it's just so similar to what you've just talked about.
We have to learn to align ourselves with the right people. If you know, I always believe this. You show me your friends, and I will show you your future. So whoever you choose to be friend with, that'll become your future.
Correct.
And that's something that I always put myself in.
Yeah.
And I do have some very good friends.
Yeah.
Lovely friends. When I'm in need, I can always count on them.
Yeah.
And likewise, if they do that to me, I will always have to pray to be the person that will do the same to them. And one of the biggest issues that I faced in the past was not having to be, to help a lot of people. And I've learned this. You can't help when you don't have. You have to have.
Yeah.
But if you don't have, at least your good heart is something that you can give, because smile, talk nice, be humble, and always have a meek spirit. Jesus said, learn of me, for I'm meek and lowly in spirit. And a lot of times we tend to think that monetary values, money, if only I can have money, I will give. Well, if you can't give a good heart, forget about the money. If you can't give a smile, forget about the money. And, doing this product has really helped me to be a blessing. There's a lot of people that comes to the market that I need. And I always pray to God and ask God, Lord, show me those people that I need. Sometimes they need money for their tea. And I would just give them a glass. Have a glass?
And you've done that to me as well. Like on a few times I've come in and I won't admit like I'll never have enough cash in my wallet. But then you'd give me like a complimentary bottle of iced tea. But I'm like, wow, I just got blessed, and thank you, God, for,
And it's funny, a lot of times we tend to think that it's always money. You ask me that question, what is your challenge? And most cases, a lot of our entrepreneurs will just say, if only I can get some capitals. No. It's not a capital. I think, as far as I'm concerned, it's your heart. Because a capital, like I've already said it, if you don't, if you think that you can have the money to give, and you can't even have the heart to give first and foremost, what have you when you have money? You still won't give.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I heard one very successful man said, when you start a business, forget about the money. Don't work to make money. Which means you have to, and I'm glad I have a product that will help the inside. Help. I have this, one European lady called me, what's a guarantee that you have? If I drink this juice, it will help me. And I said, okay. Let me tell you this. When I went to bed last night, 99.9999% of my being tells me I will wake up in the morning. And that's exactly how confident I am with this product. So 1.00001%, I won't get up. that means that's the time when I die.
Yeah.
So what have you got to say? And she said, boy, that's very good. I'm going to buy one product for me.
Just going back to what you were talking about, like with having a good heart and money, like when you were talking about, like, I just initially got reminded because I follow Pastor Joyce Myers,
Yep.
her sermons every Sunday, and I follow her podcast there. And one of the things that she mentioned as well in her teachings is you look at somebody when they have money and you look at somebody when they're without money, because then you can tell them the type of person that they are.
Yes.
And how they act with the type of heart that they have.
Yes.
So I just thought to just mention that, because when you're talking about that I initially got reminded about her statement. She said, you look at an individual and you can tell a person by their heart, by how they act when they don't have money and how they act when they have money.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, that's just so powerful.
And mind you, I do have other business that I'm running. I own Rock Climbing Fiji. And at the moment, it's not that I'm putting it to sleep. I've got a whole gym waiting for me to erect it and put it up. And mind you, it'll go. I know.
Absolutely.
But as far as I'm concerned, people often ask me, why don't you go there and look for money? Why don't you? I said, no. I have to manage what I have at the moment. Because if I can't manage what I have at the moment, how do you expect me to manage that big thing when it comes?
Yeah.
So at least that I got at the moment. Let me work on it. I'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
It'll take me there.
Wow.
So we are all in the process anyway.
Absolutely. So what is your biggest dream for Wild Boar? Like, is there something you hope to achieve that would make all the hard work worth it?
Looking at this product, I've got a team that is working with me, trying to get it, just franchise. So Wild Boar, for me, I want to stay grounded. I want to stay rooted, meaning I'm in the market right now. Many times I contemplate the idea of moving to another place. But then I remind myself, these are the people that get me up here where I am. So I will never leave this place. So the only thing that I can do is perhaps open some kind of a Warusi hub.
Yeah.
Where people can come and get their shot of Warusi every morning.
That sounds great.
So if I can have it in every township, like Nosori, Suva, Rakiraki, Singatoka, Lotoka. So people can always come there and sit down, have a glass of Warusi, talk with their friends, and they can also have their morning shots. Yeah. So however you want it. Yeah. Like I said, you're going to have more product coming through Warusi. It can be Warusi dessert, ice cream, because there are people that you can make ice cream out of this. We can have Warusi tea. So it's simple dry leaves and then have it in a tea bag. So people can just sit down, dip their Warusi, and it's nice. Hey, in the morning, have a tea that will empower you for the day. Yeah. Why not?
Interesting. Yeah. My gosh, but keep the hub in Nosari so that everybody comes to Nosari. Don't take it outside of Nosari. I've always said that. What advice would you give to young Fijians who want to start their own business but don't know where to begin?
My advice is very simple and quite easy too. First of all, in order for someone to start a business, they must first do a soul searching. I think the most important thing in life is this one thing, your purpose. What is my purpose in life? Because I tell you, if everybody understands their purpose in life, we wouldn't need what we have that is destroying us right now. So the purpose is your God-given purpose. What will you do to impact others? Because God's service is others. So you must first understand your purpose. And your purpose will drive you to do what you can do. So take for instance, you might be looking at this. One of the biggest problems in Fiji is this. A lot of people like to copy others. Someone else is doing a taxi. Oh, momos, ada kawan na taxi. So everybody go and get a taxi. Yeah. This is why I'm sitting in the market. One thing I found out in the market, prices fluctuate over and over again. It goes up and comes down, goes up and comes down. I'll tell you why. Because all of a sudden, boy, there's a scarcity in cassava. Everybody's looking for cassava. You know what happens? All the farmers jump into their farms and plant cassava. And then they all come and the cassava ripe in the same time, and all of a sudden the price of a cassava plummet. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because nobody do a soul search. Okay, if everybody is planting cassava, can I do something different? Lord, what is it out there for me? So, and then all of a sudden, dalo, there's no dalo in the market. So everybody jump into their farm and plant dalo. And all of a sudden, dalo goes down, the price of dalo goes down.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever sit down in their farm and, okay, I'll do it consistently. All year round, I'll be planting dalo. Whether the dalo goes up or comes down. My point is this. You will never be passionate about your business unless you identify the purpose. You're dealing with your purpose. And passion is always a case. This is a God-given favor. In the biblical terms, it's a grace. The grace will continue. It's unmerited favor of God. So, like I'll give you an example for this product. Things will fall in line. Sometimes I get less juice, and I have to work hard to get it up and running because there are people depending on it. So my idea is I don't want people to come to my table and there is no juice sitting there. I want people to come there and always find juice. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's giving them life. And then for young people, see your purpose first. And then your purpose will drive you to do it consistently. I hope you understand that.
I did, and I got goosebumps as you were talking and giving like your advice, which is very powerful. And I hope that like with all our young generations of Fijians and Pacific Islanders that are watching the podcast, like to take these words of wisdom on board and like try and make changes into your lives and into your families, because it will definitely benefit and reshape your future. So thank you for sharing that. Like, if someone is struggling with their health, whether it's physical or mental, like I've been open about my mental health, what is one piece of wisdom would you share with them?
It's always the case. For me, when I had my issue, I had this inner drive within me. I think one driving factor was that I'm an athlete. You know what athletes do, eh?
Yeah.
They've got their goals. They set their goals, and they have to work hard to achieve that goal. And so in the process, you're going to come through some stumbling blocks, but you remain focused to achieve that. And for me, my goal was that for me to get it out of me, the system. When I was told by the doctor, you're very sick, and my question is, can I get out of it? And he said, no. You can't get out of it. You're going to die at the age of 40 of chronic liver cancer.
Wow.
I'm 53 now.
Amen.
I've never been through any process, no procedure, no knife has gone into my skin.
Wow.
I'm very proud of saying that. Why? Because in me, God has given us this driving. And I always say this because according to the doctors, they said your liver cannot be replaced. In those days, they cannot do implant.
Right.
Way back in the 90s, they cannot do liver transplant. So they told me, you're going to die with it. So then I said to myself, okay, let's see. What actually happened is that you remain focused and you drive it. You pray for it, ask God to give you healing power, and then you work at it. You cannot be inconsistent and then expect. See, life is as such. The Bible says like this: the kingdom of God suffereth violent, and violent people take it by force. Why? What does it mean? You have to be violent to take it by force. Now, the kingdom of God doesn't just sit there and you're going to obtain it. Everybody think that life will just come to you. Oh, just relax, life will come. No, you have to work
hard.
You have to get up in the morning, think it, and do it. So, in order for you to have a good life, you have to work at it. In order for you to recover, in order for you to find Jesus. I told you earlier on that I found Jesus because I look for him. He said, seek and you will find, knock and it shall be open. So everything in life is such. God puts it in there and God wants you to get it. The only way you can get it is work at it.
Wow, that's amazing. Before we wrap up, my Thai, what's one thing you wish more people understood about the power of nature and herbal healing?
This is my understanding. I said earlier on about my liver issue. I was told you will not recover from it. I believe our body, the Bible says, doth not nature speaks for itself. He was talking about a man with long hair, that if a man have long hair, it's a shame unto him. But I tried to remove that because a lot of men are. But anyway, but I love that verse.
Yeah.
It speaks about nature.
Yeah.
The nature is talking to us. It's showing us. Remember I told you about the clean house?
Yes.
Nature is working as such. If your backyard is full of rubbish, you're going to continue to invite rubbish in your backyard. What you need to do is do some cleaning, remove the rubbish, call the rubbish truck, load all the rubbish, and you will find something. The rodent will find its way out. And the nice birds and the things that you want to invite into your house will come in. Likewise, the house is like that.
And I guess it goes for our mind as well, for those that suffer with like mental health struggles.
Nature is preaching to us, is talking to us, is showing us what we can do. And I believe everything in here is such. You know, our digestive system is the most sophisticated machine ever created. Nobody has ever created a machine that way. Only God can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I say it's sophisticated in the sense when your system needs something, your digestive system will be the first to know. He said, I need iron. And it'll send a message to your brain, I need iron. And the brain will send a message to your taste buds. And then you will have this crave, oh man, I need some iron. You need vitamins. And nature will help us too. You ever notice during cold season, you have a lot of lemon, lime, oranges?
Yeah.
Why? Because we need vitamins in the cold system to keep you warm. Yeah. So God has given us all of this to nurture us and to keep us going. Yeah. And from the beginning, God said to Adam, eat from the sweat of thy brow. And when he said, eat from the sweat of thy brow, that means your growth, your development, your eyesight, your skin health, your everything. You have to get it from the sweat of your brow. And this is what it is. You know, I told you about our farming background.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up watching my dad do a lot of funny things. Like one of them is this. He would come back from the farm, hands still filled with mud, and he would just go like this, dip his hand into his food, and he would eat. And today, doctors would go like, no, not even doctors.
Wash your hands. How many times they were saying during COVID?
Exactly. Those are some of the things that still boggles my mind. My dad is living in his 90.
Oh wow!
No, not yes. He's 90 plus now. So amazing. Very, very interesting.
Wow!
And those are the life of our forefathers. The sweat goes into the soil. The soil smells your sweat. And the soil will go, oh, this is a good man. We will help him. So, and it will produce a good food for him. And we just help each other out. So, nature is such. And our body has got the capacity to heal its own self. Whether you have cancer, you can fix it. This product reduces your likelihood of having cancer. And your lifestyle has got to change as well. And this product will help us with our lifestyle.
It has changed my lifestyle for sure.
So I hope that'll answer your
Absolutely.
question.
Finally, where can people find you if they want to try Wild Boar, the new slogan, Life in a Bottle, and experience its benefits for themselves?
I'm always in Nosori, so Section B, in the market.
Inside the Nosori
inside
market.
the Nosori market.
Yeah. You have a Facebook page as well,
I have a Facebook page. You can also type Wild Boar Health. You'll find it. And also you can type the Fijian traditional health juice. So that's also the slogan that I'm on.
Right.
It's a Facebook group page where you can come and interact with others about the product. So the Fijian traditional health juice.
Right.
So you can also reach me. My name is Manasa Daunakamakama, as you may all know.
Yeah.
My phone number is 939-7782. Yesterday, I just sent one package to Lambasa.
Yeah.
I've sent this product to Australia, New Zealand, UK, even US. Very interesting place. I sent it to last time, Middle East.
Wow. To our soldiers, I think?
Just to a group of security officers.
Right.
So went that way. Even ambassadors, they come all the way from their designated places that they are working in.
Yes.
They would come and pick it up and take it to their own, the ambassador of Japan.
Yeah, I remember the Japanese ambassador, our Fijian ambassador to Japan.
Fijian ambassador to Japan.
Yeah.
So they would come and take it for themselves. A lot of our workers that are working in Australia, New Zealand, they would come back and take it. So it's gaining momentum, and I'm hoping for a brighter future.
Yeah,
for the program.
Absolutely, it will. Yeah. So don't forget, if you visit the Nosori, which is Fiji's food capital in the Televu province, the Nosori market, Manasa's stall is inside. It's in the B section. So when you come into the Nosori market, directly beneath the B section sign, you'll see Manasa standing there with his friendly smile and all the products. I drink the Warusi honey, which has worked for me. I've been drinking it for over a year. And then I also drink the iced tea version, which is kind of like an immune booster for me, especially when there's flu season in Fiji. So you can go down and purchase your drinks or follow Manasa on Facebook, contact him and get him to send you to try some of these herbal juice, because trust me, it will definitely change your life.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Tai Manasa, for being on the podcast. Very informative. I'm so blessed to have had you and to share my secret of what has helped me, and when a lot of people when they see me, they always come up to me and they go, "Hey Tai, what gym do you go to?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they said, "You look so fit, like you go to the gym." And I said, "No, I don't go to the gym." I said, "The Warusi is my gym." So this is the secret for how I look and how I behave and how I feel. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like this episode, share it on your social media page, and we look forward to seeing you in our next episode next week.
Thank you.